Well, hello there, love bugs. Hello there, bellas. If you have not already done so, please remember to like, share to Facebook, subscribe, and visit uptopbeauty.com. And if you are not already a part of our book club, please remember to hit the Patreon link below and or the join button here on the YouTube. And for a small monthly fee of $5, you babies, yes you, can be privy to all the shenanigans before the YouTube gets it, if the YouTube gets it. Now, let's continue talking about the untold story of Booger Berry, Gordy. Me, that would be the Sugar Ray and Motown by Raynoma Gordy Singleton. As Cliff would remember and relate to some of the Motown staff, well, it all started in 1971 when Mom was on the road with Diana Ross. At one point when she was in town, she went to some pawn shop in LA and bought me a bass and Carrie a guitar. By the time Cliff finished high school and returned to LA, there were more developments. Cliff would later explain Carrie at this point had switched from guitar to keyboards, and he was pretty good too. One day I went up to visit him at his father's house and saw that he had a little setup that also included some drums and a tape recorder. Pretty soon, we were making up songs and recording them. Carrie was finishing up at Beverly Hills High and knew Diana Ross's brother Chico, who was playing the drums. So he started in with us too. Next thing we knew, we've got two more guys from Beverly. Benny Medina. Oh, that Benny, man, that is a powerful name. This high energy singer and bongo player. We call him Mr. Personality, and a talented dude named Larry Robinson, who played guitar, and we had a full-blown band. The boys named their band Kryptonite. Kryptonite had major star potential. Boys, I said, after listening to a few songs, how'd you guys like to have yourselves a manager? Now, okay, so because Carrie's pappy is already like the head honcho at Motown, automatically Sugar Ray, because you know she cannot get away from the Motown at all. Just nothing inside of her says, you know what, there are other labels out there. Maybe we should go to other labels. No, that's not how her brain works, because again, the Stockholms is severe with her, okay? But at any rate, they took 6 months preparing to audition for Motown. Kryptonite went in front of Suzanne DePass and a Motown attorney, Lee Young Jr. After the presentation, the boys went up to Suzanne. Well, what do you think? All she could say was, "You broke my face." They took that to be a compliment. 3 months later, Motown made an offer that included an invitation for me to come into the creative division to work with Suzanne and my old Jobette salary. I know she was somewhere rubbing one out. Oh, I get to be back with Barry. Oh, my Jesus. Barry called me. Suzanne's been telling me about the boys, and I think it's fantastic. We threw Kryptonite rehearsals into overdrive. I was positive we're going to be megastars. What's more, it so happened that Barry had put together a group called Switch, which included Bobby DeBarge, that also had great potential. So we had some good old-fashioned competition going on. Both bands fell into the teenage bag, with Switch heading in a sophisticated direction and Kryptonite going for bold and dynamic. What more could teen listeners want? By the late 70s, Motown was moving into an uncertain era. Disco had thrown everyone for a loop. The Jacksons, once Motown's beacon of hope, were long gone. Motown Pictures had been a big flop. The company was relying wholly on only a few superstars, almost them superstars. Hold on, let's take it back. The company was relying wholly on only a few superstars. Foremost among them was Stevie Wonder, who'd already emerged as one of the most successful songwriters in music business history. Coming up in the ranks, showing great potential history. Coming up in the ranks, showing great potential, were the Commodores. Oh, Zoom, I like to fly away from here. Oh, I love the Commodores. Oh, I love the Lionel Richie. Oh, but some important veterans were having problems. Although Marvin Gaye had recently knocked off one of his big hits of the decade with Got to Give It Up, he was now floundering. Smokey hadn't cut a hit in so long that he was starting to be a joke among the producers. Diana Ross, after a promising early solo start, couldn't get arrested. Once yet, the company wasn't developing new talent, and our golden gleaming reputation for our that is not your company, girl. That is not your company. Okay. Anyway, and our golden gleaming reputation for being the cutting edge of the industry was badly tarnished. That's when Kryptonite came in. Now the money is being negotiated. After completing most of the backing tracks, I sent a copy of the rough mixes to the great arranger, Gene Page, for feedback. Gene said, "Oh, I love the music. You know, it's got a funky beat that I can dance to. But girl, there ain't no disco beat on there. And you know, during this time, baby, if you ain't got a disco swing to it, what you gonna do?" Okay? So she say one day, you know, hanging around with Carrie, she heard a nice groove coming from the room. Okay? Now we have to come up with a song for this groove. They decided to call it Crypto Disco. There was a slowdown. Now, okay, so hold on. Whoops, there's a slowdown due to mechanical difficulties. It turned out that the creators of Superman was like, no, nigga, no. Okay? How you going to utilize kryptonite when Superman is fitting to come out? No, sir. No, sir. And you know, Motown ain't got no money to be fighting nobody over no daggone, you know, name. Oh, I remember Superman. I remember you, Christopher Reeve. Christopher Reeve will always and forever be my Superman. It is so sad what happened to him. But anyway, at the midnight hour, we all agreed to name the group Apollo and to rename the song Crypto Disco to Astro Disco. Because Barry had a rule that all kids should be out of his house by the age of 18, Carrie was back living with me. Also at the house were fellow Apollo members Benny Medina, Cliff, and of course Eddie and Raya. It was March of 1979, just around my 42nd birthday. Girl, you've been chasing around this Barry Gordy for 20 fucking years, girl. Oh my, if I had that teddy bear, if I could put that teddy bear in this slot right here, you know, the one that be tearing that little, you know, the baseball thingy up, whatever that is, I will put it here. I can't believe this bitch been chasing that nigga around for 20 years. That is crazy, girl. Barry Gordy should have put out a restraining order on your ass. Real talk. Not that Barry Gordy wasn't, you know, a piece of work himself, but girl, something scary about that. The album, Apollo, with me credited as the producer, was released. There was a flurry of activity and hearty acclaim. The company loved the record. Apollo was soon appearing on the Dinah Shore Show, Soul Train, and American Bandstand. Now that's a big deal. The fan mail was tremendous. The Apollo heat wave was rising and rising. Now, taking it back. In the meantime, she spoke previously about Marvin Gaye. We're fitting to touch on some of Marvin Gaye's issues, okay? I knew though that Marvin, a man struggling to find himself, was going through hell. His career was in turmoil, as was his relationship with Barry. He and Anna had split a few years before. According to Morris Broadnow, according to Morris Broadnax, who'd been close to the couple during their last years in Detroit, Marvin had been destructively obsessive about his wife. Ooh. Now, Jan Gay's take on... Now, Jan Gay, when we read that book, Jan Gaye knew that Marvin was obsessed with Anna, but she ain't really touch on it like how she should have probably touched on it, because she's so in her head that she want to stay with Marvy Boo, the once great, well, he will always be a great crooner, but the once prince of Motown, okay? The marriage was caught in a deep tide pool of Marvin's paranoia. His feuds with Barry, his chaotic finances, and his troubled relationship with his father. All this rage was inflamed by a cocaine addiction. Bitch, you had a Percocet addiction, man. When I tell you I can't stand people that stand in judgment that be just as messed up as everybody else, I hate those people, okay? I really do. The marriage was being ripped painfully apart. And in the summer of 1978, after a protracted legal battle, Marvin recorded his album, Hear My Dear, the proceeds of which were to be applied by court injunction to his divorce settlement with Anna. When it came out that December, it was merely rueful or angry. It was one of the most directly personal statements of resentment ever released in public. Yet for all the tragedy surrounding his life during our encounters, he was the sweetest, most sensitive man imaginable. That was the paradox of Marvin Gaye. I knew that he was having a drug problem, but he never came to the house high, nor did he expose the boys to it. His son, Marvin III, considered a cousin by all the kids, was very close to Eddie. Marvin was a sports fanatic and would invite Carrie and Cliff to his place, where he had a gym, a baseball court, and a tennis court. So Marvin and I never talked about the shadows that fell across the lawn of the house in Hidden Hills, which included, I feared, his recent second marriage to Janice, which was not starting under the best circumstances. Apollo sounds fantastic, Ray, Marvin said. You're doing your old magic with them. Yeah, you really think so? I refilled our glasses with lemonade. Your sons are great, he nodded, staring off somewhere, and then turning to me, he said, don't let anything stand in the way of you working with these kids. I wonder if that was a dig to Bird of Gordy. Oh, girl. Oh, y'all, hold on, because we finna talk about Rockwell again. When I tell you I feel so bad for teasing him and talking about him being a one-hit wonder or whatever it is, I just feel so bad. I do, because we all make jokes, sometimes you do feel like somebody's watching you, okay? And that little boy had a lot going on, so hold tight. We had another youngster, an ironic yet poignant presence, Kennedy Gordy, Barry's son by Margaret Norton. Barry's dynastic shuffling had never been easy on the children, and for Kennedy it had been very hard. On one hand, he had been given a childhood of unimaginable privilege, with the servants and paid caretakers and answering to his every material need. On the other hand, his own parents were unavailable to give him the most basic of human requirements: love and attention. His father was always working and his mother was unstable. Bitch, you unstable! Okay, to say the least. Margaret's troubled circumstances, including giving birth a year after Kennedy was born to a baby girl who died less than a year after that. I surmise that to a baby girl who died less than a year after... Let me take it back. I surmise that Barry blamed Margaret on some level for the loss, as well as for much of the ensuing unhappiness. Though a beautiful girl, Margaret had no direction or skills. Okay, pause. Okay. Oh my God. I'm just going to say again, Sugar Ray, you have no right to judge anybody when reading this book. I know when you wrote this book, you thought that you was giving the world your truth. You know, I was such a victim to Barry. I stayed loyal and faithful to this man, and this is how he treat me. Girl, you don't get no points for being faithful and loyal to a man who shit on you. You just get called stupid, okay? Though there would remain a controversy over whether Barry and Margaret were ever actually married, I would be one of the few to be certain that they hadn't. You know why? Because you're a stalker, Sugar Ray. You're a stalker. Sugar Ray, I love you. I love you. I love you for this contribution to the world. But girl, you is a stalker, girl. My God, no, of course you know. He told me that even though he loved me because I made those phone calls to you, he could never marry me. Margaret said to me a few years after me breaking up with Barry. Oh, okay. So Margaret called her and told her. Okay, but I'm sure you verified. What was known to all was that once they moved to California, they didn't live together anymore. He bought a separate house for her, let her and Kennedy... Hold on. He bought a separate house for her and Kennedy, which was up in the Hollywood Hills, where she would await the moments, then few and far between, when Barry would visit her. Like when... Barry used to climb through your window like that. Like when you awaited those moments, sugar. Like the time you purposefully put a man friend in Barry the Gordy's PJs. So when Barry the Gordy climbed through the window, he would get mad seeing the man that you was hunching in his pajamas. Okay, girl. Okay. As his mother's condition worsened, Kennedy moved to Bel Air with his dad, and Barry assumed legal custody of him. Margaret was given a settlement, spent some time in a mental institution, and was finally sent back to Detroit. What is Barry doing to these people that the people that are surrounding him are losing their mind? What is he doing? And this ain't even just about the women. It's some of the men that are around him too. My God. When Carrie moved to Barry's house in 1973, Kennedy, who'd never forgotten Carrie's Lone Ranger routine in grade school, was soon reintroduced to me. When Apollo headquartered in Hidden Hills, Kennedy often came along with Carrie. Soon he became a member of the family, staying for as long as he could. At his father's house, he was so much younger than everyone else, and he was treated as a 14-year-old bratty nuisance. At our house, he was older than Raya and Eddie by 4 or 3 years. It was the one place in the world where he felt he could just be himself and get all the love and attention the other kids received. Now dig this, right? Because, Margaret is a little off, but so are you, Sugar Ray. Okay? But, Margaret knew that her son was spending time with his brother over Sugar Ray's house, right? So from time to time, Margaret would call and be like, hey, Sugar Ray, okay, it's me, Margaret, all right? Let me talk to my son. Sugar Ray would look over at her son. It's your mama. It's your mama. Kennedy or Rockwell would just shake his head and be like, no, I don't want to talk to her, okay? Eventually, Rockwell would get on the phone, and it would be so much mental anguish for him. Like, come on. Your mama loves you. Putting all her, mental instability on him. It started to wear on him emotionally where he would start to cry, okay? And by the time of the end of the phone call, Sugar Ray stepping over her boundaries saying, you're okay, baby. You're here with me. You're surrounded by love. That's not your place to try to outdo your mother or his mother. Okay, Sugar Ray? That's what I don't like about her. And then later, Barry the Gordy would call to talk to him about the conversation that he had with his mother and then bash his mother to Kennedy, Rockwell. You know what I'm saying? So this boy is getting it from all ends. He getting this craziness from his mother, this mental instability that he's absorbing from his mother. And then Barry the Gordy, he not, mentally together 100% himself, because if he was, he will be mature enough to know, don't add to the situation and bash his mammy. But the poor little boy just had I just feel bad for him. Yeah, so anyway, Apollo, that first album was fairly decent, right? Now we working on the second album. Baby, them sophomore blues be the drama, okay? By April of 1979, it was clear that the Motown machine wasn't in sync with us. Bob Jones in PR was working like hell, but the rest of the company chose or closed all valves to dollars for promotion, without which even the best records can take a nosedive. Thank you to Jesus for the intranets. Okay, thank you. You can put that thing on YouTube. You can put it on IG now. What is that? What is the Snapchat? The TikTok? I mean, it's so many different avenues now, that make it so easy for you to just promote your own self. Now you are the business. You can rely on yourself to be a business, and okay. So anyway, Sugar Ray decides to take the boys to Japan, right? Oh, girl, okay. Anybody can make it over cross seas. I hate to say it, but those people over cross seas, if they find somebody entertaining, do you know that ninja, it's not Jeffrey Daniel is still overseas making a whole bunch of money for pop locking and moonwalking in 2021? How the hell is that possible that you can go over there and still make the money? 20, 30, 40 years after the moonwalk landed, Jeffrey Daniel is still pop locking and moonwalking, making fucking money. Okay? But anyway, they're over there. Okay? And, they're doing well, of course, because like I said, Secret Squirrel can still make money over there, overseas. Okay? And I ain't just talking about Japan. I'm talking about everybody overseas. All the countries overseas. We were sensational stars in Tokyo, as Apollo dazzled the audiences for 4 shows a night, 6 nights a week. It was a magical world in which we pretended that California had fallen into the ocean. I made sure that every moment was filled with happiness because I knew by now that we were about to return to a financial crunch. Draining all our savings, the pooled amount was enough for only 1 month. I was back in my free fall, plummeting without a net, reaching out in midair with a desperate phone call to Barry. I asked him to either reinstate my salary because, girl, while she was in the midst of trying to help Apollo, that damn Robert L. had called and was like, hello. Sugar Ray, this is, Robert L. Guess what, baby? We cutting your salary again. Sugar Ray is like, how you gonna cut my salary when, I'm using my salary to promote us over here, in Japan? That's tough tits, girl. That's not my problem. And it's despicable to me because Berry Gordy know that his son is in that band. But what does that tell you? Listen, Ray Noma called Berry begging Berry the Gordy, Booger Berry, Berry Bed Bug Bites for money to help his son to, have a promising career over there in Tokyo or Japan or wherever it was, just period, okay? And the ninja said no. He said no to his own seed, girl. Girl, what you think he gonna do with you? Look, if you don't want the group, just let us know. Just let us go. Maybe we could do better somewhere else. Oh, okay. Berry the Gordy was like, fine. Fine, good. You release. Your paperwork will be ready in the morning. Deuces. What? See, and then remember earlier, she told the dude who she used to work for, what was his name? The Lee guy, the Lee Young senior guy, something like that. Her old boss. She said earlier that Berry Gordy don't work well with ultimatums. Why did you think that you can go to him and say to him, oh, if you don't like it, just let us go? Girl, he don't give a fuck. He don't care. Girl, this dumb. This is why I say she crazy. So she over there in Tokyo, right? But she's living back with all the people in her 2-bedroom apartment back home. The manager had been, so excited to have Motown royalty into her home or his home or his apartment building, whatever. He was very kind to her in a way where, he had patience in regards to money. When she got back home, there was an eviction notice waiting on the door for her. Now, this is my thing. What did you think? You don't have to pay bills, bitch? What did you think? You're sacrificing your children's home? Baby, if you're not doing it for yourself, you should at least be doing it to take care of your children. Okay, I believe in my son, but you still got to get that income to take care of your household, you dummy. Girl, would you think that the Lord was going to come down and pay your rent, fool? When our time was up, the marshal closed and padlocked the doors, nailing up the big red sign. Finally, Cliff spotted our rescuer. There he is, Ma. There he is. Look. Child, let me tell you who came and got her. Her old husband, or her ex-husband, Ed Singleton. Okay? I'm not mad at Ed because you want to take care of the woman that has your children. I'm never going to be mad at that. Ed, but believe me, Berry Gordy has way more money than Ed, but Ed has more of a conscience than Berry does. You're not understanding that if the mother is out on her ass, then your child will be out on your ass. Like Berry's okay with the fact, yeah, he's over 18, but he has nowhere to live. You okay with that? Now, some of these kids be getting called out because, like Dr. Dre's daughter, she 59, and she like, oh, I'm homeless and I'm Dr. Dre's daughter. What's his name? Kirk Franklin. His son, is 70. Okay, and he mad at his father because his father won't take care of him forever. It's a couple of other men out there. Who else is that? The one, I need love. Damn, Brian McKnight. He another one. Son, 106. Okay, and the man is mad, and the son is mad at his father for not taking care of him. But still, come on, bruh. No, Sugar Ray. No. And that night, after all 6 of my bunch landed at the 2-bedroom apartment belonging to Ed and his wife, Barbara Randolph. Barbara Randolph quickly became the dearest friend to me and the kids. Her mother, Lillian Randolph, was an actress and a drama teacher. She had appeared in It's a Wonderful Life with Jimmy Stewart, Other films included The Bachelor and The Bobby Soxer, Guess Who's Coming to Dinner with Sidney Poitier, and Neil Simon's Cactus Flower. As the summer approached, I took one last breath before I undertook the ominous challenges that loomed ahead. I couldn't believe my ears when I received a call from a good friend, Linda Wolf, who was living in Lake Tahoe. You heard me? She answered, I just invited you and the kids up for the summer. I've got a beautiful house here in the mountains. We've got the lake, the recreation corner, and the strip for nightlife. I think I can keep you busy. Okay? And that's what she needed. She needed to do that so she can get her brain off of Barry's the Gordy's pickle. Now armed with my secret weapon, the lesson I'd learned from Barry's last attack, I called him and spoke with him in a steady voice. Okay, so let me tell you what her secret weapon was. She knew that he was insecure and he was afraid of failing. Baby, that's not a secret weapon. That's everybody's, issue. Everybody, wants, not everybody, but, people want to be successful, especially people who own their own and are not working for people. So, girl, you ain't got no secret weapon. Stick that in your butt. Listen, I was the first one on the ship with you. Let me be the last one on the ship when it goes down. And I want the kids on there too. At the same salary of $25,000 that I'd received 3 years before at Jobette, I was employed as an assistant to Lee Young Sr. Oh, wait, did we already talk about Lee Young Sr. yet? Oh, maybe not. Then head of the creative division, the sting of hearing what my pay would be for a job that normally paid approximately $70,000 was deflected by my many months of toughening. Besides, it was all part of the plan. I immediately hired Cliff for Jobette, and soon I'd have positions opened up for Carrie and Benny too. In a few blinks of the eye and an advance from Barry for a move, I found us a townhouse in Casablanca Park. By 1980, Motown, though solidly established, By 1980, Motown, though solidly established in prosperity and reputation, was no longer at the forefront of creation. Now, if you have not already done so, please remember to like, share to Facebook, and subscribe. Now, remember this. The same people you meet on the way up will always be the same people that you meet on the way down. My naysayers, my patron loves you, babies. Have a good one. Peace.